Because ancient technology, as I said, is all to do with the ether. It's all to do with the ether. If we can understand ancient technology, that is a proof in itself, because it exists. It's already there. It is done. It's undeniable. We already talked about the pyramids, but let's talk about something else. Let's talk about these other old buildings. We've got old cathedrals, old churches, old temples. And they're all slightly different, but they're all very elaborate, very complex, and they're all made with very detailed instructions, detailed mathematics. You see, the pyramids, for example, the pyramids are built with a certain proportion. They've got proportionalities, certain measurements, certain volume, certain alignment, and all these things connect to the universe around it. So, for example, the mathematics of the pyramid, you can find in there the dimensions of the Earth, the circumference of the Earth, the distance of the Earth to the Sun, the size of the Sun, the speed of light is in there. All sorts of numbers are in this shape, in this geometry. That's why it's so clever. It's aligned with magnetic north, perfectly aligned. This can't be built. This is highly difficult to build. And why did they do that? All this alignment, you see, resonance goes together with alignment. Resonance and alignment. These two things are very important. You see, if you have three pyramids built down here on Earth, and these three pyramids map three stars in the cosmos, in other words, the distance is the same proportionality of these distances, the magnitude, the size of these is the same magnitude as these, this thing will align with these three things. So in other words, the alignment of this matches the alignment of this, and because of that, this whole thing resonates with this whole thing. So resonance and alignment go together, and this is all to do with our training. I've got to align my body correctly in order to resonate with the chi, with the energy. And there's one more thing that they do as well, you see. There's one more thing that they do, and that is they collect electromagnetic energy. Okay, resonance and alignment is to do with ether. This is to do with the ether. And they also collect the electromagnetic energy directly. So this is manifest energy, this is unmanifest energy. Okay, there's an important distinction. So let's look at some of these old world buildings. Let's take a cathedral, for example. You have a cathedral or a church, great big tall structure like this. Oops. And at the top you've got a metal thing, and then it goes down to a tower, and then you have at the back, you have another building at the back with windows, and you usually have a big circular window here with some incredible pattern on it, and you've got this sort of structure. So what is going on? Well, this tall spire is to collect the static fields. This is quite literally to collect the lightning. The lightning will strike this, and if the lightning strikes this, it would charge up the whole building. So these were designed to receive lightning. And again, this is undeniable. How many millions of churches all around the world, cathedrals, these buildings, they were all built with a thing at the top, a weather vane, some metal thing at the top there to collect the electrostatic force, collect lightning. And none of them had a lightning conductor. Now we say, oh, that's dangerous. So we put a lightning conductor, a little bit of metal that goes all the way down the side of the building into the earth. So when lightning hits it, instead of going into the building, it goes down the side into the ground, because this is dangerous. But all these buildings built all over throughout time, never bothered about a lightning conductor. They were designed to capture the lightning. This building was using bricks. These bricks, in particular red bricks, they act like batteries. You can store electrical charge in there. Granite, again, is crystalline. It's got piezoelectricity. They can do something with electric charge. And it's got a very deep foundation. We don't know about the foundation of these things. See, these things are built with massive deep foundations and catacombs, things going on underneath. And that's all part and parcel of it. You see, the lightning would hit, go through underneath. There'd be water. Often you'd have water running underneath. So this thing is capturing atmospheric electricity. It's a power station. And this thing here is very interesting as well. This circular thing here is to do with the magnetic field. And this is essentially a magnetron. Magnetron. So you can look up magnetrons. These are in microwave ovens. These are particular things, but they have this shape. You create this sort of structure and run a current through it. It's complicated what a magnetron is, but here in a church you can see an interesting shape that behaves very much like a magnetron. And of course that allows the magnetic field to build up. And it's at the front. It's at the front, so the magnetic field builds up inside. Here the electrostatic charge builds up. Here the magnetic field builds up. There's a lot going on here. And this is all to do with collecting the ambient electromagnetic energy around. But there's more to it than this. Remember, there's resonance and alignment. These things will be built with a certain proportionality. To create resonance. But what are they resonating with? They are resonating with the ether. They're resonating with the ether. And the ether is mathematics itself. And the most important aspect of mathematics in the ether is the mathematics of the golden ratio phi. This is the Greek letter phi. It represents the golden ratio. And I talk about this in all my lectures. This is the only law of the universe. Remember, mathematics is the only true esoteric science. It's universal, and out of mathematics, to create a manifest reality, you have to use the mathematics of phi. And this goes together with Pythagorean mathematics called incommensurability. 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 You have to look this up. But this is very, very serious mathematics. And this also is geometry. So you will see certain geometries. Okay, you will also see certain geometries appear. And these geometries are to do with this incommensurable geometry and to do with this mathematics of phi. So when they build these structures with these particular shapes, it's very clever stuff. And it's not random. Those shapes are designed to resonate with the ether through the mathematics of the golden ratio phi. So you're going to see proportions of phi in here. I don't know what they'd be. You'd have to do detailed analysis. But you see, it might be the volume of this compared to the volume of this will be in the ratio of phi. You know, the width to this, the length to this will be a ratio of phi. Something like that is going to be going on. And again, the alignment of this. So whether this is magnetic north at the front door or it will be at an angle, but this will be aligned to the magnetic north. These will be pointing other buildings. They'll be set up with other buildings. So there's a lot of alignment, resonance, and collection of electromagnetic energy. But let's look at, say, these palaces. You've got these other major buildings. You've got a dome, and again, the same thing at the top of a dome. You'd have something, and then you'll have another part of the building maybe. Then you have a triangle here. You've got all these triangles, and then you'll have some pillars, won't you? You have pillars. You have all this stuff going on, and then you'll have another rest of the building, and you'll have archways. You'll have arched windows as well as triangular windows. You'll have all this stuff going on, and these are all mathematical. The number of pillars is important. The angle, this triangle is going to be a particular triangle, perfect incommensurable geometry. It's 108 degrees by 36. This is very, very important in Pythagorean mathematics, and that leads to the Pythagorean pentagram. Everyone knows the pentagram, magical symbol. You know it from dark magic, but it's not dark magic, it's just magic. But it's not any old pentagram. It's a pentagram made up of this triangle. You see there's three of them here. There's one, and then there's two, and then here there's three. And each one of these, the 108, 36, 36 triangle, this goes together to make the Pythagorean pentagram of the 5 elements. So even this symbol is very, very important, but it's not random, it's exact. When you make it exact, it resonates with phi. Therefore, it is resonating with ether, unmanifest force. So when you build a building with all this geometry, it is resonating with the ether. It is creating energy, creating it through the geometry. But what is interesting, there is an element of creativity to this. It's not fixed. You've got all different types of buildings. You can have a creative flair. You can chop and change. It can be artistic. As long as you stick to this certain mathematics, you think about it, you choose some numbers, you align it carefully, you think about all the proportions, you can build a structure with an artistic flair that still resonates with the ether, and it will collect energy. Okay, so it is a science, but it's also an art form. It is a holistic science. Let's have another look at a church. You see, a great big church, great big tower. You've got the circle here. You've got the spire. You've got the aerial, the antenna, and then you've got the great big hallway, the great big hall going down the back with windows. But what they would have inside as well is bells. There would be a big bell. A big bell. And this is very, very significant. Again, this is not random. The bell, the shape of the bell, the resonant frequency of the bell or bells would be built together with the shape of this church. Very clever mathematics. Someone knew how to do this. So when you ring the bell, dong, it will resonate with the cathedral, the whole thing. Bong. And if you're sitting down in here, you know, you're sitting here inside the church, you will get this resonant frequency turned in on you. And this is powerful, powerful healing. And it's more than just that. Someone has already done the research. You see this circular thing here, you have these patterns on this circular window. Well, this is something called cymatics. Cymatics. Now, cymatics are three-dimensional representations of sound. If you create a particular sound, you can do this, say, on a metal bed. If you take a flat piece of metal, say, and you cover it with sand. You just cover it with sand, and then you do like a violin bow. You have to take a violin bow, and you draw it down the metal. This whole metal plate will vibrate, and the sand will jump up and down. The sand will jump up and down. And what happens is, at the perfect frequency, it will make a pattern. You might have circles will appear, like this. And if you do it at a different frequency, a different pattern will appear. It will create different circles around. So these patterns are called cymatics. And the resonant sound of this cathedral, you measure the sound that it resonates with, and you look at the cymatics of that sound, it will match the window here. Somebody knew the cymatic pattern created by this church, proportions of this church, and then they created a window to match that cymatics. That means this very clever, this is all connected together. This shape of this window mirrors, is aligned with the proportionality of the building to create a resonance. A resonance of this sound resonates with this shape, resonates with this structure. It all works together. This is all imploding to whoever sits in the middle. This is clever, clever stuff. And not only that, it's charged up by lightning. Lightning hits it, boom, the whole thing charges up. And inside you've got water. You'd have holy water, wouldn't you? Holy water inside. Now, holy water is charged up with this ionized air, ionization. It's charged up with the sound, dong, and it's charged up with all the images, the geometry that attracts the ether. So this will be healing water. And you'd have it near water. You'd always build these things near water, or you'd have underground water. You'd have catacombs deep down with water running underneath it. And you'd run through granite, and granite is crystal. If you'd have water running across granite, creates electrostatic charge, this rises up. So this is an electrostatic power station, and it's a healing temple. And when you have this bell ringing, one of these in the village, dong, everyone loves it. You still hear them now, that some beautiful villages in Switzerland, hear the bell ringing, dong, dong, it just feels wonderful. Absolutely beautiful. And you have to take all these bells away. All these are gone. Take these away. Can't have these. And maybe put back in a different set of bells that are slightly off. It's got to be the right bell for this right building. It's got to resonate with the structure. Remember, this shape, this is morphic, but this sound is different. This sound will resonate with this morphic, with this shape, this morphic resonance. It's very, very clever technology. And it goes together with chi, the life force energy. It is healing energy. So not only can we go to these churches and although the electrostatics is not there anymore because we've got the lightning conductor, that's taken away, but you can still feel the energy of the geometry. Look at what we've got. There's still a lot there.